My name's Marshall. This is my wife, Jen. I've read Game of Thrones. Jen hasn't. We watched the show for the Wall Street Journal. Not a bad gig. Hello, everybody. This is Marshall Crook here with my lovely wife, Jennifer Krieger. After 2 weeks off,
I missed you.
Which we'll have to address. 2 weeks ago, Jen had a bike accident before we were supposed to film.
I thought a Game of Thrones scar.
She landed on her face.
Yeah, no.
And then last week, I was in Maine, because if I didn't leave New York City for a week, I was going to go insane. And I grew a little beard, and now everything is good because...
You're going to be like Jamie as the bear in the middle of that cage. Just you in New York.
Yes. You mean New York is the bear?
No, New York is the cage.
New York is the cage.
And you were just circling, trying to get out.
That reference went way over my head. I don't know what you're talking about, but it's awesome and adorable. All right.
Anyway, we're back. Really happy to be back.
So you liked this episode way more than last week's episode.
More. Which I
think is crazy because last week's episode was amazing.
I loved last week's episode, and it was. I watched it alone, and my heart was pounding the entire time. With this week's episode, I don't know if I just haven't noticed this before, but I felt like for the first time there was a really wonderful segue and throughway throughout all of this. There was a lot of themes that transcended and went from scene to scene very in the way that paragraphs lead into other paragraphs in really well-written books.
Well, it was written by George R.R. Martin, who wrote the
I
book.
I noticed that.
You think that helped?
I'm going to defer to you on that. Do you think it helped? Do you think that was the reason? I mean, first of all, we should maybe address what some of those throughways were. I think that scenes
there were
that
parallel scenes. Like there was these dual scenes of marriage talk. There were these scenes of dual scenes of people on thrones.
More seduction than marriage.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I think that what was when it struck me the most was when Daenerys said, "Free all the slaves," and next you see Shae looking at the chains that Tyrion is presenting her with,
giving her a chain. So
then there's just the.
References to birds between, Jon Snow is the crow who's going to leave, and then I think Shae was referenced herself as a bird of some kind.
Well, there's the raven that is perpetually leading the Bran. And
it's always the boring section of the show. The Bran section. They're the most boring sections of the book and the most boring sections of the show.
It's the non-moving section because the poor kid can't move.
He just can't walk. He's just let's have it.
Oh, now we're talking.
Talk by the campfire.
Yeah.
That's mean.
I know, that's terrible. But at the same time, no, I think that, the idea of Ygritte as, what was it? It was a crow.
Oh, no, Jon Snow was the crow, I thought.
But it wasn't the fellow who was talking to Jon Snow.
Well, he's the one that goes into the bird's brain and kind of look around.
Right, and he's going, Ygritte is a bird. They love when it's convenient, and then they kill when it's convenient.
Yes, that's right. She said that to Jon Snow.
Yeah,
that's
and
right.
he's like, you'll never have her because that's the way she functions.
Right.
And I think that mentality, loving when convenient and then killing when convenient, and that there is no actual real sustainable love, that it's all a matter of seduction and treachery and manipulation, that carried throughout. Whether it was Daenerys presenting herself a certain way to seduce this guy and then seduce him to giving her what she wanted. And then Jaime finally realizing that he couldn't use money, as you very astutely pointed out.
That was my point that I was going to drop. But you preempted me and said...
I just liked it so much.
I made the point that Jaime's big Han Solo moment where he jumps in at the end to save her it was interesting because he made the point of offering to buy this, to buy off Amory Loach, or whatever his name is, Locke, I should say. And the entire season has been pretty much about Jaime trying to buy people off, and as a consequence, he loses his hand because this guy can't be bought. And then in the end, he just jumps in, and it's great. And I told you at the beginning of the season that Jamie Lannister is going to become one of your favorite characters.
And I totally bought. I mean, I knew. I mean,
that's why.
That was
a
swoon-worthy moment. That just was.
And you're a girl who swoons, and you greet as well.
And so there's no silk dresses.
Tying it together.
Yeah, no, I loved that scene. We did it very well.
We did it through line.
George R. R. Martin would approve.
Yes, exactly. Anyway. Thank you guys so much. I'm sorry again that we missed 2 weeks and that we disrupted whatever momentum we may have had, but. she's better after her accident now.
My face is better.
And I am better after getting out of Brooklyn for a week.
Tell us what you thought about this episode,
yes.
how you liked it compared to the last two that we've also not gotten a chance to talk about, and love to know your thoughts on whether you felt there was a difference because George R. R. Martin had written it. Just really want to know what you guys thought. I loved it.
Yes, and it's much more fun to watch the show with my wife. So thank you, sweetheart. I love you.
I love you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.